My name is Asanka Pereira. So I'll be talking about an open source software success story. I'm from Sri Lanka, which is a very tiny country neighbor to India, and many of you might know about Sri Lanka mainly from cricket, but we also have a ecosystem coming up around startups, as well as some technology companies. We cannot directly compete with India, but it's quite good in regards to the quality of the work that we're actually doing. So my previous past, I have been involved with open source from about 2006. I'm a member of the Apache Software Foundation, and I started my own company, Adroit Logic, in January 2010. And our objective is, mission has been to build the fastest integration products out there, and we want to make it very simple to use, deploy, and maintain. And that's one of the things that was spoken in the earlier sessions today, that there are people who simplify things and complexify things. So we are on the simplification path, because we are not the first ESB to integration company to actually come out to the market, and we are not the first open source integration company. But coming later into the market, what we actually tried to do was do this thing much better, so that the end users will actually value what we have done on these aspects. And we absolutely want to maintain the quality aspect, because quality says a lot about how it performs, how stable it is, how easy your products are going to be over a period of time. So Adroit Logic was bootstrapped in 2010. Currently we are a 10% team, so in numbers we are very small. We have a couple of products, our main product being Ultra ESP, which is a free and open source enterprise service bus. So just in one or two lines, if I am to explain what we do is we facilitate enterprise integration. So we can connect one particular system which might be talking web services with another system which wants a flat file uploaded as SFTP, and we can also do very fast HTTP routing for web services and other protocols on similar to that, including WebSockets. We have already implemented support for this as well. So we are actually putting out a non-open source product called API Director, which is into API management, which will be coming up pretty soon. And we already have two other B2B products. One is called the AS2 Gateway, which is around the AS2 protocol for B2B communication, and another file exchange gateway mainly related to enterprise file exchange. So our business model is mainly driven off production support subscriptions obtained by people actually deploying our software in production, as well as professional services, custom solution development, and software licensing where we have a need. And we also offer, we follow a openly published pricing policy, so that we want to maintain our transparency as well as what we are really about. We don't have a sales team, so all of our customers have actually come to us, and we are very much influenced by real people contributing back with ideas, code, as well as other enhancements back to the project. So some of our customers are listed here. Kuoni GTA in UK, which is a large travel company, they want to integrate about 2,000 partners because they resell travel information to many websites across the world. And those web service calls will soon be routed through the Ultra ESB, which has a very low, very high performance requirement. We also have the Singapore Stock Exchange already deploying a tier 1 system and already doing 2 more projects with the Ultra ESB. We have Freenet Digital in Germany, in media, as well as some other companies in Saudi Arabia, in New Zealand, Xerox in US, etc., and some others which are not listed here due to other reasons. So why did we actually open source or choose open source? Is we actually didn't start up as an open source company. It was 6 months down the line when we got this email after proof of concept by a large telecom saying your product is really good. This is the actual email which triggered the conversion to open source. But the sticking point was unless you're open source, we can't actually look at you. And this made us realize we have to actually open source, because earlier when we started the company, we were under the impression, okay, other people will actually copy our ideas, what we have innovated, coming late into the market. But after some time, we realized if we don't do this now, we are not actually going to be looked at by other companies. And after being open source, we actually realized a lot of other benefits, a lot of feedback and enhancements and new ideas actually started coming to us, including code contributions from other architects of our users and other companies. Very much more visibility and many more users. And now when the code was actually open source, we have to maintain the quality in all aspects, not just the code. It has to perform really well, because people openly can compare our performance, because a commercial product, you cannot write a benchmark and compare against it, because the license specifically prohibits those things. But with open source products, people can actually do that. And the open source license actually acts in a way like a patent. Although the code is publicly available, it prevents people from actually copying it, because the terms of the open source license gives you some freedoms, but not freedom to steal IP. So it's actually a means of protection, and total cost of ownership for our users goes down, and we still have revenue coming in by services that we offer. So quickly, if we go through the open source survey done by Northbridge and Black Duck. So today, most of the people actually choose open source, not because it is cheap or anything, but because they believe that it has much better quality, because a lot of people actually contribute it. You can look at it and see it in practice, and it's not about who the company is actually, but how good the product is. And also people use open source for easy deployment, as well as access to the code if they want to change some aspects of it, because you can't do that with commercial software. And also the fact that you can influence the project direction. You can actually reach out to these open source companies and say, we want these types of features, and these are really important to enterprise customers. And what happens, we actually think about them, and if we can incorporate them, we will do our very best to actually do those in the timelines possible. Now, as a business model, if we compare open source, it's if you try to make all of your software free and open source, it's a bit difficult, because it takes a lot of time to build a good community around, and you also need money to actually survive till that kinds of grows up to self-sustain. But what many people do is they have a commercial, a community edition which is open source, and they have a commercial edition which has all the goodies and the enterprise features. So it's like a bait and switch. You show the open source product, and then you get them tied on and locked into your enterprise, and they can never go actually back into the open source. And what you have actually done is use open source only to sell your stuff. So what we actually did was quite different. I'll explain in the next slide. But there are other companies who make use of open source just because it is there. Like sometimes people don't ever want support for Tomcat, or I mean, they don't have a need to say that we are using Tomcat or something like that, because there's no reason to actually be doing that. So what we actually did was we actually open sourced the complete product. So we don't have enterprise and community edition, but we gave the open source code under AGPL license, which is quite strong. So it has large companies scrutinizing this and asking for a different license because they don't want to go with AGPL. So that's fine. We license it under different terms because it's allowed for us to do that. So what we do is we give the binaries, precompiled binaries, free of charge under $0 EULA, which gives us marketing and publicity rights. So if somebody is using our software for free, it's not just like Tomcat. We have a right to say that okay, these people are using it, which is I think something at least giving back to the ecosystem. You are making use of open source, but you are also giving back something. So why we actually bootstrap the company? Actually, it started our main product started as a one-man attempt trying to prove something, and we already had the product. And at the time we started, we didn't have much vibrant startup ecosystem. So we did have many concessions by the government for startup, services export companies. So we actually, I personally preferred having less non-technical stuff to worry about, trying to create business plans and everything. So we actually started out very organically and started getting customers and people using it. And we are very motivated by Atlassian's journey. But now the current problems that we face are, how do you actually go from here especially to other countries, because all this time we were not about, the number of people we had in the company. It's about like, we tried to build a company which is like, a unit of special forces commandos. So we had our engineers who are very much, capable in doing various things. But it's difficult to actually, scale such a team, because we can't actually double in size overnight. We need to, make sure the new people also, stick to our vision and our values as well. So we also have, a need to grow our sales, but at the same time, this is an area that I constantly see our competitors having some issues with. So, we have to actually learn these things going forward. I had a chat with Ram earlier on, and he would, about using open source software in enterprises here in India as well. So I would like to invite him to just talk about a couple of minutes on what his experience is on. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ram Hurst from Walmart Labs. And, so I'm Ram Hurst from Walmart Labs. We build a platform as a service at Walmart Labs. And then, so we primarily build our platform capabilities using a lot of open software products. I was talking to Asanka about his product, Adroit Logic. So the primary core functionalities of platform as a service are fundamentally built with open source, mainly because they're highly performant, they're lightweight, and we have access to great talent like Asanka himself. And then they're highly agile in terms of release process. So we've been very successful at Walmart Labs using a lot of open source products for the primary PaaS capabilities. Like things like API gateway, mediation logic, API management, then caching, messaging as an infrastructure. So all kinds of things as PaaS capabilities are built using open source. So I personally highly endorse open source way of building things, including for things like platform capabilities.
Yeah. Thank you, Ram.
Yeah, sure.
Can we do any questions? Q&A?
Sure.
I have a question.
Yes.
What is the growth that you have seen before and after? Let me repeat the question. What's the growth that you have seen before and after you switched your product to open source?
Yes.
In terms of growth, in terms of two aspects, right? Users and revenue.
Right. So actually, when we started up, we had one customer who was, already interested in using our product. But except for that, we had very less traction, because it was very difficult to get the initial customers, because everybody asks when you have a new product, who else is using it? And personally, before this venture, I was involved in WSO2, and we had that same question asked then as well, because it's very difficult to get the first customer. So I think our license of making it available free of charge under a $0 license, but we get to quote you as a customer, helped us in getting that stage barely passed, so that we can get the critical the very first paying customer to actually help us pass that time. But the visibility you get once you open source is very much more, because unless you open source, you are put into the commercial category, and a lot of companies wouldn't evaluate you or benchmark you or your products against other competition. But once you open source, it's very much you open a lot of other doors for a lot of publicity, as well as many users to actually end up using your product.
Could you quantify what is the growth that is?
Yes, actually, since we have open sourced within the first 6 months, basically we got our first paying customer after we open sourced. So we didn't have any customers paying us within the first 6 months. So I cannot actually quantify, I think, in meaningful terms, but I think definitely the publicity and the the focus that we and the attention we got after open sourcing was much more.
Great. So in the interest of time, again, I'll limit to this. Thanks so much, Asanka.
Thank you.
Very interesting session.